Oh, well, same to you, Wayne. I'm so grateful to have the opportunity to be here with everyone and work at Animal Wellness Action. And very pleased to introduce our first speaker tonight, Congresswoman Nancy Mace. Grew up just outside of Charleston, South Carolina. She is the daughter of a retired Army general and retired school teacher. And before being sworn into Congress, Nancy earned accolades as one of the most fiscally conservative members of the South Carolina General Assembly. She's also one of the most pro-conservation lawmakers in the state. And when she dropped out of high school at the age of 17, her parents said, if you're going to stop going to school, you've got to start working. So she immediately became a waitress at the Waffle House and frequently uses the slogan from the Waffle House to the U.S. House. Nancy earned her high school diploma a few months later by taking college classes at Trident Technical College in North Charleston and graduated magna cum laude from Citadel. She is actually the school's first female graduate that finished in 1999. And in 2004, Nancy earned a master's degree from the University of Georgia. She is the author of In the Company of Men, A Woman at the Citadel, published by Simon & Schuster, and has her own business as well. Since we've gotten to know each other over the past year, Nancy has just stepped out so far in front of so many other members. She has been the best advocate on Capitol Hill for animals. There's maybe one or two other Republicans that can keep up with her even, and has done a marvelous, marvelous job. I'm proud to serve on her steering committee. She is leading on the Minks or Super Spreaders Act, the FDA Modernization Act, the Opportunities for Fairness in Farming Act, and this week leading a letter on animal fighting to the U.S. Postal Service to help us crack down on the shipment of these birds overseas. So everyone, please meet Nancy Mace.
Thank you so much, Marty. And I want to thank Animal Wellness Action as well. You guys have been remarkable leaders in protecting the rights of animals here in the United States, and just big, big champions. And I need to add to my bio, I guess it's not on there, but I'm a cat mom. I've got 2 cats I adopted from the SPCA, and I recently got a puppy for the kids during recess. And believe it or not, as a single mom, I swear to God, they're behaving better now that I have another animal in the house, a dog now. But I'm really proud of some of the accomplishments that I've been able to work on, some of the policy and issues that we've been able to get traction on. Most recently, folks will recall, I guess about 2 weeks ago, I did a letter with 9 Democrats, and I guess it was 13 or 14 Republicans to Dr. Fauci at NIH. And there was this story about how the NIH and NIAID had spent approximately $1.7 million and over the testing of beagle puppies. It was 44 beagle puppies. And they took the vocal cords out so that the scientists couldn't hear their cries or their barks, and then drugged them, killed them, and dissected them. And of course, the FDA here in our country says this kind of research is not necessary on drug testing. And so instead of just banning it altogether, we just sent our money overseas to have it done overseas instead. And what was remarkable about this letter, and I'm still waiting on Dr. Fauci to respond to the letter, but one, it was bipartisan, truly was a bipartisan piece of work. And the only way we can make movement on many of these animal rights issues is to work together. And animal rights is an area where I've found common ground with Democrats, and on both sides of the aisle. This and Britney Spears, right, are like the 2 things that many of us can agree on. And we were all obviously very upset about Afghanistan, but it really wasn't until everyone realized we left dogs in Afghanistan that you really saw the left and the right come together on discussing, how bad the exit strategy was from Afghanistan. And so this is a place where we can work together. And I'm really very proud of the work that we're doing in exposing some of these things. And when I did the letter, myself and my staff, we've since learned of other issues over at NIH. There are experiments that scientists using to scare monkeys to death, addicting mice to cocaine. $500,000 was spent on, again, beagle puppies, I believe, to have insects eat these puppies from the neck up, right? And it's just, it's terrible, and it's disgusting, it's barbaric, and it's got to stop. And so if I can be a strong voice on these rights, I absolutely will be. Leading the charge, I worked with folks on the other side to lead the charge on mink farming, right? There's no better habitat to spread COVID-19, we have learned, than a mink factory farm. And so I sponsored an effort to ban mink farming here in the United States. The FDA Modernization Act is another place. Animal tests in large part are not predictive of the human response to drugs 95% of the time. And so another piece of legislation, we understand that the FDA has archaic requirements on testing sometimes. And we've got to modernize testing and provide alternatives that don't hurt animals in the process, because it's totally unnecessary. The opportunities and fairness in farming is another bill I'm proud to have worked on. And then, as Marty mentioned earlier, a letter that I'm doing with Representative Mike Quigley from Illinois that we're going to do this week that's investigating illegal cockfighting, that's also tied to the U.S. Postal Service. And that letter, I believe, is going to go out Friday, that we're working on together. But whatever I can do to advance the cause, it is personal, and I want to make sure that we have meaningful reforms and that we have Republicans that are willing to take up the mantle and fight for animals that can't fight for themselves. So really honored to be here. Really love the work that you all are doing, and just can't thank y'all enough too for being in my corner. So,
well, Congresswoman Mace, it's Wayne Pacelli. Thank you so much for your leadership. When I think of all these issues that you're co-leading on, the FDA Modernization Act, the Minks Act to ban mink farming, the effort on animal fighting. I mean, millions of animals are at risk in all of these different issues. I mean, if the drug companies, we count the number of animals used in drug development with an FDA mandate, it's millions a year. We're raising in the United States millions of mink and shipping the pelts to China and South Korea. And we're shipping perhaps tens of thousands of fighting animals, even through the US mail. I mean, certainly by ground transport, and whether it's dogs for fighting or birds for fighting, these are big subjects. So it's great to have you involved in these issues and working on them. And I guess, you noted the bipartisan nature of these issues. How are your constituents responding on animal issues? How are they understanding the scale of your work here?
Are. And it's, I represent a swing district, but I've always sort of had an independent voice. I've always marched to the beat of my own drum, as has my district. That's why I won this seat in the first place. But they do resonate with people, because at the end of the day, it has a real impact, a meaningful impact, and it can be done in a way that's not partisan. And everything is so damn divisive these days. It's either left or right. And I think people are just sick and tired of it. I know that I am. And so I've tried to find meaningful ways to work on legislation with Republicans and Democrats alike. And this is a place where we've been able to do that over and over again. And it's remarkable. But we got a lot of work to do. So
yeah, I think that animal issues, I think, are one of the few issues that really can cross the aisle. If you look at the FDA Modernization Act, we're dead even in terms of number of Democrats and Republicans who are co-sponsoring. You with Rosa DeLauro led the mink farming ban. It was 5 Democrats and 5 Republicans. We have to find issues in our society where we can agree. And I think animal issues are one of the universal values in our society. So really grateful for you and for your leadership on all these issues.
Yeah, and I'm trying. I mean, I made that promise that I would reach across the aisle and work together. I've done everything from the animal rights work that we're talking about to Britney Spears to cannabis. There are so many places where we can work together, and sometimes we lose sight. We're not focused on the end goal, and this is a place that is rich in opportunity to work together, and we've got to do that. We've got to do it for our kids and for our country, and for all the animals we're trying to protect and save.
Well, great. Well, thank you so much, Marty. Anything finally for Congresswoman Mace? We'll let her get on. I know she's had a long day.
Yeah, I just really quickly wanted to ask Nancy. I mean, you have co-sponsored every single bill that's out there. You're leading on so many issues. You've signed every letter. I was down in Charleston a few weeks ago, folks, with Nancy, and we were talking. I found one bill she hadn't co-sponsored. She co-sponsored it immediately. I just wondered, what is it that drives you with animals in your background and childhood and growing up? It's always usually something personal with animals with most of the advocates here.
Yeah, I grew up in a big family with a lot of animals, 3 dogs, 3 cats, and a bird. And, and I grew up in that environment, and they just, when you grow up in a family like that and you have animals around you, it gives you a great appreciation and a love for just human nature, right? Because they love you no matter what. And humans just aren't that way. And I think that animals give us a healthier perspective on life, a better perspective on life. and a longer life too, if you read some of the research, right? And so, that had an impact on me greatly growing up, is my relationship with animals. I dropped out of school, like I said, when I was in high school, and sometimes we retreat, places alone sometimes. And when you have animals in your home, cats and dogs and the bird, I mean, it gives you great comfort and solace sometimes, even during tough times and difficult times. For me, I know personally, they just bring so much joy to us in life too, and they deserve every right to have a great life.
Well, Congresswoman Mace, thank you so much. We're looking forward to getting some big things done. We want to get that mink bill over the finish line this Congress. We want to get the FDA bill done in particular. So looking forward to getting some bills signed with you.
Whatever I'm doing. So y'all just
thank you, Nancy.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Take care.
Bye.
So